everybody, Levi Clay here, and it is Christmas Day, so happy Christmas. I am here to bring you a video giving you some Christmas music recommendations, all obviously heavily guitar based. So I have 10 albums for you today, and they're really in no particular order. Maybe the top few ones that are much bigger influences on me more so than anything. But yeah, I find that Christmas music in general is something that I actually hate. I hate Christmas music more than anything. They start playing it in shops around September time. It just really puts me out of the mood, and also reminds me of being a young child and growing up in my Christmas situation as a kid wasn't great, so I don't like those memories. But the idea of new Christmas music, or Christmas music that is more related to the guitar and things that we all relate to, is a great idea. So let me walk you through 10 albums. You can give them a spin on Spotify, or some of them are on YouTube. They shouldn't be too difficult for you to dig out and improve your festive season. So in at number 10, we have Ho Ho Hoey by Gary Hoey. Now this, actually I believe there's two, maybe three of these now. Originally I believe this was, Ho Ho Hoey was made by Gary as a present for friends, but it was so well received that he ended up doing a full international release of it. And there's some cool tunes on here. Gary is a great player. It's not top tier production, like it doesn't sound like an extremely expensive instrumental guitar record, but if you want to hear some Christmas classics played, if you want some rock and some metal influence in these things, yeah, that's one to check out. It's a good album. I'll be completely honest, it's a new one for me. I heard it for the first time this year, so I don't have a long history of this one, but I can honestly say this is probably going to be one that I am going to pick out year after year. So nice, easy. In at number 9, we have Rob Halford's Winter Songs. Cool, yeah, right, so Rob Halford's Winter Songs. This is a bit of a joke recommendation, to be completely honest with you. I thought that it wouldn't be right to have a list of Christmas albums and not have some metal bands in there. But you know what? Aside from bands like, I believe, Twisted Sister, there's not a whole lot of metal Christmas albums. I don't know why those two things don't go hand in hand, but yeah, so most metal players would rather give the gift of metal rather than the gift of Christmas. But Rob Halford did release a Christmas album a few years ago, and it's Rob Halford. It's very, very cheesy, listening to like We Three Kings, but my good friend Doug, has had, and myself have had many laughs over this, and Lee Costanza. So, if you're a metalhead and you want to put on something slightly Christmassy, that one is worth a spin. So I'm going to make that recommendation. In at number 8, this one is definitely an outside choice. This is progressive metal. This is by the band Panzer Ballet, or Panzer Ballet if you want to be very specific, but those guys would pronounce it Panzer Ballet, so with the t on the end. Yeah, Dance of the Tanks. I don't know if you are familiar with the band. I'm a big fan. I'm not a huge fan of their Christmas album, Christmas Def Jazz, or Xmas Def Jazz. This is typical of those guys. It's outrageous, progressive jazz versions of tunes. Generally speaking, I actually usually prefer their original material over their covers or their adaptations, if you like. But of course they do have a ton of adaptations that they were popular for, things like the Simpsons theme, and there's some ABBA tunes, Gimme 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 I believe, and they honestly have done quite a lot, but I actually do prefer their originals like Zerfunk and yeah, is it Mediterranean Sundance? Something to do with the Mediterranean. That's great. But yeah, Christmas Def Jazz is worth a listen if you want something a little bit more technical, something that's going to challenge the brain. I wouldn't recommend listening to this one with family around, though. Cool. So the next one is, this is a little bit of an outside choice. I went with the album Django Bells by the Gypsy Hombres. I believe that's right, the Gypsy Hombres. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of gypsy jazz music. I absolutely love gypsy jazz music. And there's not a whole host of Christmas gypsy jazz that I could find, but this is, a perfectly fine example. If you are into that style, I think that it's only fair that there is something that caters to your needs. And as the people that, have watched my channel for a long time will know, I am a fan of many, many styles of music. And therefore, it's nice to be able to dig into things like this as and when you want them. So I will make that recommendation. There goes the boiler. So, what one shall I put next? You know what? I'm going to put I'll Be Home for Christmas. This is an Alison Burns and Martin Taylor collaboration album. Now, Martin Taylor, fabulous jazz guitar player. If you're unfamiliar with his playing, get on it. He is one of the best in the business. And he's been doing recordings with Alison Burns, the singer, for many years now. Yeah, many years. And she's a fabulous, fabulous singer. So to have the two of them together, combined together to create this absolutely beautiful, beautiful effort of Christmas songs. Like, there's a running theme for most of these albums. They all include Winter Wonderland. Well, not every single one of them, but most of them contain the song Winter Wonderland. And now I say that, I'm panicking that this one doesn't have that on. I'm sure it does. But yeah, there you go. I forget what number we're up to now. So let's just keep going. Boogie Woogie Christmas by the Brian Setzer Orchestra. I'm a huge fan of Brian Setzer's playing. I love rockabilly. I think it's that combination of country music and rock and roll, like early rock and roll, which was kind of birthed out of the country thing anyway. So yeah, totally, a big fan of that. I believe Brian Setzer's Orchestra have 3, if not 4 Christmas albums. They're all worth checking out. This one, I think, was the first. It was certainly the first one I heard. So Boogie Woogie Christmas is a great album for you to check out if you want to see what Brian is all about and also get a little bit more Christmas into your holiday season. Now, I believe that means we have a couple left. Sentimental, yes. So this is a relatively new one. This is a Steve Lukather album. This one, again, definitely has Winter Wonderland on there. This one's worth checking out because Steve Lukather, great singer, great songwriter, but also a man of many friends, shall we say. So he has a lot of guest appearances on this album. If you want to hear, like a collaborative effort of some of the best musicians around the world, it's worth checking that one out. So big fan of that. Now we're down to the last 3. So I'm going to go with... Let's go with Christmas with Chet Atkins. So the number 3 spot goes to Christmas with Chet Atkins. Now this is obviously a Chet Atkins recording. It's exactly what you need if you are looking to listen to some sophisticated guitar playing that doesn't need to be about, complicated harmonies or clever fast playing. There are some lovely, textural things on there. I believe this is actually the first recorded example of Chet doing the chordal harmonic thing. The chordal harmonics that he does. But generally speaking, when you listen to Chet playing instrumental music like this, you tend to find a lot of great examples of applications of triads and playing melodies. So yeah, if you want something that's going to be very family friendly, this is definitely a good one to go for. Number 2, great album, this one. It was very difficult for me to not switch the Chet one with this, but I'm going to go with Six String Santa. This was a Joe Pass album. Now, Joe Pass, one of my favourite jazz players, actually definitely my favourite jazz player. Rough around the edges, unlike Martin Taylor, who's, you can't argue the fact that Martin Taylor is one of the best chord melody solo jazz guitar players in the world. Joe Pass didn't come close to doing the kinds of things that Martin Taylor is capable of doing. There's a roughness, a rawness, almost punk attitude to the way a lot of Joe's stuff was. So to hear Joe do a Christmas album is a wonderful thing and well worth checking out. Again, probably not one for the family, at least not one that my wife will let me have on when she's around, because she is not a fan of the style. And even when I point out, but it's Christmas, that's not enough for her. So yeah, Six String Santa by Joe Pass. Give it a spin, you will probably enjoy it. And finally, the number 1 spot. This is without a doubt my favourite Christmas album of all time. It actually got me back into the idea of listening to Christmas music. I do only get to listen to it at the one time of the year because it feels wrong to listen to it at any other point. That number 1 spot has to go to the Brad Paisley Christmas album. What more can I say? What more can you ask for? Great singer, lovely songwriter. There's some interesting historical things on this record. There's Brad Paisley's first ever recorded song that he recorded when he was, well, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. He's very young, and it uses the original recording, and then Brad has sort of done a duet with himself many years later. So it's very interesting to hear that, you know, historical thing. But there's everything that you could ask for. Winter Wonderland that I taught, some great guitar playing on there, great singing on there, nice arrangements, instrumental tunes like Jingle Bells. You know, it is the perfect Christmas album for me. It has everything that I want and more. It makes me very happy. It makes me very warm inside. Go and give it a listen if you haven't heard it. I want to say I'm sure you will enjoy it. You know, it's country and jazz, so maybe you won't enjoy it, but I'd like to think that you'll enjoy it. There is something to be found there for everyone. So there we go. There's my list, guys. What recommendations would you have? It's absolutely a difficult one to decide on, right? Because there aren't that many options. There are some obvious things that I could have thrown in here. There's a great Larry Carlton Christmas album. There's an Al Di Meola Christmas album. Many people have done Christmas albums over the years. Leonard Skinner did a Christmas album, I think in 2000, so that's getting quite old now. But yeah, these were kind of my little hidden Christmas gems that if you hadn't heard, you needed to check out. So please do let me know the ones that you would recommend I check out in that comment section below. Lastly, where's my mouse? I should just say a huge thank you to these people over here. These people are your Christmas saints. They have brought you this video along with all of the other videos that I have done this year. These guys helped to make that happen. So thank you very much for your support, guys. Now, I should just point out on the credits roll there at the bottom, you can see Larry, where I've used like an open square brackets. Please stop messaging me telling me you've made a mistake there. That was what he specified on Patreon, so that's what we're going with. Maybe he made a mistake, but yeah, that's what he wants, so that's what we're getting. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas season. Please do click up here to support me on Patreon. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking this video down here. You'll see 2 more of my videos here and here. As I say, wonderful Christmas, have a wonderful New Year, and I cannot wait to see you for more videos soon. Let's make 2019 an absolute belter. Laters.